Hey everybody, this is Jose Blasco. We are about to start in around 20 seconds. So let's use this time for a sound check. Please go ahead and type a quick confirmation in the chat box so I know you hear my voice, you see my screen, and we are ready to get started. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Let me maximize our introduction slide so we can have a proper official start of the session and begin the trading. Very good, everyone. Very good. Perfect. Hey, my friends. How is it going so far? How is the morning in the US? How is the afternoon in Europe? Evening hours here in Asia. Welcome to the session today. Today is December 10, 2019. My name is Jose Blasco. I will be your guide. And today I'm guiding you into the world of short-term trading. We're going to be looking for intraday opportunities, looking at the shorter time frames. Futures and Forex will be the assets that we'll be utilizing for such application. And we'll be just identifying trade setups that match our roles, that gives us an edge, planning those trades and executing those trades happily with proper risk management and a proper approach to trading. That's the plan, okay? Before we start, good to see you all, see all your comments and your names, Dirk, Aviv, Pansy, Bojan, Mark, Franz, everybody, Geneva. Very nice to see you all, my friends, and again, eager to begin the session. As always, right before we start, we always need to go over the disclaimer, so I'll read this quickly so we start, okay? Here we go. The following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Traditive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive when using our products. And this is the disclaimer, and therefore the session is now properly introduced. And here is our beautiful TradeStation platform running auto climate in the context of multiple radar screens with watch list and symbols that we watch closely, looking for opportunities in them. So what do we have? Well, for the ones of you joining this session for the first time, take a look. On the left, we got futures. In the middle, we got the Forex major currency pairs. And on the right, we got the Forex minors. So for the minors, we are going to be using exclusively the 4-hour time frame for climate purposes, where with the majors, we're going to use the 4-hour time frame, but also the 60-minute time frame because there is more liquidity there. So it's okay to go a little bit lower time frame. When it comes to futures on the left, okay, the less liquid markets will use 4 hours, such as lean hogs, Japanese yen and natural gas, 60 minutes for the climate, and the most liquid markets, which is going to be in this case crude oil, the euro contract, the S&P 500 futures, gold contracts, and the Nasdaq will be using the 15-minute time frame on that screen. And what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for this. Okay, we're looking for a golden flashing light with the word sensible. Sensible means that we are trading in the direction of a predefined climate, but that climate has not been in place for too long, and therefore that climate has some probability to remain the way it is. If the market was to be too extended, just to use a different word, maybe that movement, that overall directional movement of the markets may change direction because it's not sustainable or too extended. But in this case, we are looking at two alerts with the word sensible, one with crude oil, one with the euro contract. So we're going to rush to go into those markets, 3 candles out of 5 and 6, okay, and 2 candles out of 6. So certainly good time to begin looking at those trades. Okay, so let's go for it. Let's begin with crude oil, since in the top of the list. So we go for crude oil first. Okay, and while I'm opening crude oil, I am also loading I'm loading here using my browser bar chart. Okay, we normally use, especially using commodities when trading futures, we often pay close attention to the commodities and the metals as well as meats, softs, etc. Because those contracts in the futures markets, they have expiration dates that vary quite often. So again, I'm just going through the process. For the ones of us trading those markets in a regular basis, we kind of know these by heart because we look at this in a regular basis. But again, I'm showing you the process that you would want to go through, which is to select that future section, go for contract specifications. I just clicked on crude oil and notice that crude oil is showing me that F is the current letter representing the contract with an expiration date, which is the one with the greatest liquidity. Okay, and you can see here the greatest number for volume in this case, it's corresponding with F, which almost always is going to be the F that you see there, but certainly good idea, good practice, good habit to always double check looking at the volume and the open interest figures to know we are using the right contract when trading futures. So I just loaded crude oil. While I loaded crude oil, I'm now double checking I got the F, and I do, okay? So I know I have the peace of mind of knowing that my orders will be executed with the F, and my charting and planning of the trade is also executed with the F, which is the contract with the greatest liquidity. Now, knowing this, let's go for the trade. So first, we look at the climate. We are looking at three sapphire blue color dots, meaning that we have a defined, confirmed climate that has been lasting for 3 candles as we speak, where statistics suggest this climate is going to last for 5. We always round it up, isn't it? So 4.82 becomes 5. So in other words, we are candle number 3, stats suggest it's going to be up to 5 candles, sometimes even more, sometimes less, that's probabilities, but certainly probabilities suggest that a normal thing to happen would be 5. So certainly we are not late to the party, and it makes sense to plan on a trade to go long crude oil, long because the climate is defined to be an up climate. We know that because of the color. Now that we got this information in place, then we look at the current average price, which is going to be our guide. In this case, we are looking at 81, and we're going to be looking at 81 in all those different charts to see if we do have a green UFO lining up. And guess what? We do have one right here. This UFO in the middle does line up with 81. As well as this one here as well, lining up with 81. So we do have the setup that we need for a proper entry. And knowing that the climate is defined and I do have the proper entry I will need, so then I'm just gonna follow the process, which is step 1, confirm the climate, we just did. Step 2, go for the target, okay? Because again, if we have a good entry but the target was too close, then it's not worth it, the risk, isn't it? So not to waste our time, we will first look at where the target should be, okay? So I am loading AutoUFOs in the 15-minute time frame, and it seems that I'm gonna have to load more data. This happens to us before, isn't it? We're gonna have to load more data to find where those red UFOs are going to be, okay? And the data that we need to be loading may be around September earlier this year. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to the 15-minute time frame, and I will load. I will disable auto climate as well just to save a little processing power, and I will load data starting September 1st, 2019. Click OK, and this should be able to uncover red UFOs above price. The moment that PD goes away, meaning that the pending data is not pending anymore, has been downloaded, then I'll be able to assess the location for the UFOs, okay? And I see some typing there, Alan, Bojan, and so on. So I'll be looking at your questions and so on in just a minute. I would just like to complete this trade first, and then I'll go ahead and look at your questions, okay? So what do we have there, okay? So we are looking at red UFOs, and notice that the next UFO available on the chart is actually located really, really far away, which, as we have said many times when we conduct sessions that are intraday sessions, okay? Let me make a note first, 6185. So it's nice to have a target so far out, but in the other hand, what we always say when we do intraday sessions is that, okay, wait a minute, let's be realistic here, because the reality is that we are shooting for trades that are intraday. Okay, for other trading styles, it will be a different story, but when trading intraday, one of the things that we want to accomplish is to be out of the trade before this product will close trading at the end of the day, which is, if I'm not mistaken, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So given the fact that the target is so far out, like really far out, the current price is 58.99 for crude oil, and we just talked about a target located at 61.85. Well, then this being nice, because certainly it opens up room for price to move higher. Well, being nice, the reality is that it's kind of not too realistic from a point of view of reaching that target in a one day only, given how far it is. I mean, anything could happen in the market, so you don't want to have negative biases that stop you from taking certain trades. But what I'm trying to say certainly here is that probably the outcome of this trade would be to plan this very far out target, and you will probably not reach it, and therefore you will find yourself just trailing stop, just by using new UFOs that will form on the way up, and you will get stopped out somewhere higher and leave the trade for hopefully a nice profit. But we cannot predefine that precisely because that target is too far out for an intraday trade. Okay, so still the trade is valid. Okay, and therefore we're gonna put it in place. And what I will do, since that target is so far out, just to be realistic and align with the trade actions that are likely to happen as a trader for us, I'm just gonna go ahead and not use a final target. I will use entry, stop, safety target, and no final target. I will just trail stop from my remaining position. Okay, that's the plan. And again, I see a lot of typing, so make sure I'll be back to you in just a minute. Okay, so what do we have here? Upper part of this UFO is 82, bottom part is 74. That one is also 74 when it comes to the bottom part, and the upper part is looking like maybe 82 too. Yes, it's also 82. So we have a beautiful confluence with a share bar and the tick chart showing those UFOs to be exactly in the same location, which is 84 would be the entry. So I'm going to place an order to buy at 58.84. I'm going to do it with two contracts. My stop should be 73, which is one tick below the UFO. Therefore, my safety target will be 95. Okay, and again, I can now grab my final target here, which is located at 59.04, and I could drag it up all the way to 61.85, we said. But again, I said it a few times, we are really not likely going to reach that one in an intraday move. If it was a swing trade, for sure, but not for an intraday trade. So I'm just gonna cancel it by just clicking on it. Okay, and notice that even though I'm left with one target, that target got number one, where the entry got number two and the stop got number two. In other words, I would be buying two contracts, protecting myself for the two contracts I own, and then taking partial profits at 58.95, and then the remaining position, which in my case is going to be an additional contract, then I will just trail stop for that additional contract if I was to reach my safety target at 58.95. Okay, so hopefully all of you got it. All of you are with me on that. If that's not the case, make sure you type your questions so I can take a look. In the meantime, I will look at the other questions, and then we'll go for the other trade with the euro contract. So Alan, good to see you, Alan. Can I download TradeStation without a funded account and get the apps you are using? No, you will need to fund an account. I believe Bojan is giving you an answer. They will require $500, and with those $500, you would have no maintenance fees for the TradeStation side. The app, as you know, is a subscription-based app. But for the software, for the data fees and so on, TradeStation will take care of that, and you will be provided with that for free. So you don't have a cost if you wish, but you do need to fund an account with at least $500 to be with TradeStation. Yeah, I see your conversation. Thank you so much for your answers, Bojan. They are perfectly accurate as always. So thanks a lot. Ray, good to see you. Yeah, Jose, the top of the UFO is at 82. You know what? You are right. I'm not sure why I type 84. Yeah, you are absolutely right. So let me rectify the trade. That's actually a better one. Good catch. So 82 is the entry. Therefore, my stop stays at 73, and that will change the location of my safety target, which should be 82 and 1 should be 91. Okay, so here we go. we have it now. Sorry for that, guys. I'm not sure. I guess, you know, this thing that happens sometimes in the back of our mind, you see a 4 there, and next thing you know, your mindset get automatically programmed to type 4. Not sure why that happens, but I'm sure there is a human explanation for it, okay? Yeah, got it, perfect. Teamwork, you guys know I love teamwork big time, and it makes us all better. Thanks for that, Bojan, okay? So anyway, we're gonna be looking at this trade again in 1 minute, because 1 minute that average will update. So actually it just happened. So we got 85. 85 is just a little above, but again, given the fact that we are now trading like 15 ticks higher than the entry and this needs to fall, I'm pretty positive the average would be lining up with the UFO. So it's something to watch, okay? Something to watch, but for now, I would say it's good. So the other market that was flashing earlier was the Euro contract. It seems that the Euro contract, just like crude oil, they moved higher, okay? Moved higher. So they are further away from the average, okay? And it seems that the one that is a little closer to the average is the gold contract, but it's not flashing yet, okay? So I'll wait to see if those markets retrace a little bit before the market opens, and I'll go find and plan a trade at that moment in time, okay? But for the moment, we have the crude oil trade, and we are expecting crude oil to come back down. You know, one of the things that happen many times is that the market opens and creates some sort of a push. So when the market opens 15 minutes from now, maybe we have a push like that to the downside just to get filled and then have crude oil move our way. That would be beautiful, okay? And this, by the way, happens many times, okay? So the fact that price feels a little far from now doesn't mean at all the trade will not be triggered, in just a few minutes, okay? So we always need to be ready for that. And the Euro contract is now pointing at 0.64. You know what? Let me take a look at the Euro contract, because I could not do it earlier. I was not fast enough, given the fact that I am not only doing the trade, but also sharing a lot of my thoughts, and this takes time. But since it seems that the euro is coming down a little bit, so I would like to reassess this opportunity in case there is, okay? Here we go. The euro is now flashing an alert, okay? Euro contract alert, okay? So here we go. So with the euro, we are using the Z contract, okay? We are not moving yet into the next expiration date. And when looking at the setup, 83.8 is the average price. And yeah, 83.8 is actually in the middle of this UFO, I would say, right? So the top of this UFO, gold is also now giving us an alert. So I guess that we need to move. So we have 82.5 to 84.5. Yeah, certainly it seems that the average it's surrounding. And it's the UFO, I should say, is actually enveloping the average. Okay, so this UFO does qualify as a valid entry. Okay, so having done that, let's go ahead and look for a target for the euro contract, because it feels that we may have an entry very soon, and the target here would be located all the way at 111.10.5. So for the euro contract, we got 111.10.5, and this is, if you look at the current price, which is 110.83, so we're talking about 30-40 ticks higher, which is I would say achievable in a daily move, given the average true range of this currency in a daily time frame. Okay, so we're okay with that. Actually, price already got into the UFO. Yeah, so okay, so here's what just happened. Price got into the UFO while I was talking, so I cannot plan a trade now because I don't have the data on the screen anymore. But knowing that there was a UFO here, if this ever happens to you, what you could do, okay, and we could do that too, it's to go ahead and be looking at green UFOs forming on the reactive time frame. If any green UFO was to form in the reactive time frame, then you would go ahead and take a trade out of those green UFOs. Okay, but we have to wait to see those on-field orders kick in, because unfortunately I don't have them on the screen anymore. If I done that a little quicker, I would be in the trade and it would be a valid one. But right now I cannot do it because I would be improvising on my stop location. Okay, so I'm just gonna wait, and if that's the case, then we'll take the trade. Okay. Okay, the other one that was flashing, what's going on with crude oil? Let me see. Oh, crude oil is still doing its thing. Okay, nothing new. And the other one that was flashing was gold with a near sensible long. So I'm gonna open gold. Yeah, a lot of moving quickly in this beginning part of today, which I love. Remember last week it was not exactly like that, isn't it? Every day in the market things are different, which makes it very interesting. So I'm going back to my bar chart. I'm going to click on metals to be able to load the gold contract. And we're going to look at the gold contract and see, confirm the right letter. Here it shows as G, isn't it? It shows as G. So we are gonna notice how I got GCZ19, and you can see a lot of missing data. Okay, so that's why it's important to be utilizing the right date. So G20, that would be the right symbol, and therefore the right expiration date for the gold contracts. Okay, it seems that we haven't traded gold for a while, and expiration took place, and then the new contract took over. Okay, so what do we have? Okay, so we have a climate, which we're about to see. So two blue dots into climates of 5. The average is 114.71.5, which is more or less here. There is no green UFO. It's more or less here. There is no green UFO, and more or less here there is no green UFO. So we're gonna have to watch gold because at that particular stage, we may have a UFO form, and next thing you know, in 10 minutes from now, we're going to have an update on the average, which may tick higher than 71, maybe 73 or something like that. And next thing you know, this potential UFO that may form in just a few minutes may qualify as a valid entry. Okay, not yet, but maybe soon. So I'm just gonna be ready for it. Okay, what happened with the euro trade? Well, the euro trade seems that we may be in front of a change of climate. We are clearly below the average, okay, and clearly below the UFO that earlier we got somewhere around here, which means that those on-field orders got canceled. So if any of you took this trade, certainly your stop triggered and you are out. And now what we need to do, if you are that person, it's wait until a confirmation for the climate in the next update of the 15-minute time frames, which is going to be 9 minutes from now. Okay, so don't re-enter this trade until we have a new update on that climate analysis technique. Okay, crude oil seems to be coming down closer to our entry, but still quite far, so nothing to be said. What else is available? The Japanese yen futures. So I'm delighted today with so many flashing lights in futures. So we got the Japanese yen futures today flashing an opportunity near sensible to get short one candle out of what would be 5. Okay, so beginning of a climate, and those are nice setups to be analyzed and exploited if the market is kind enough to give us a trade setup that matches our roles. So let's load the Japanese yen futures and take a look at that. In the meantime, I'll be looking at your questions too. Bojan, can't remember everything, being sapphire across the board ever, such strong times. Yep. Jose, Kamal, Jose, will we have the red screen with this flashing on the trading view in the near future? There is no feature such as trading view, such as red screen in trading view. So unfortunately, it would really depend on developments that may be done on the trading view side, which they are always developing and releasing new tools. So hopefully someday. But the reality is that when would that happen? No idea. Okay, so certainly if you feel that using a tool such as red screen that saves you a lot of time, it's important to you, you can always do what we said at the beginning part of the session, Kamal. I don't know if you were already with us, where you can just fund an account with transaction with $500. You get the Forex data feed for free, and that's it. Now you can get your tools on TradeStation too. Okay, that could be an alternative. Yeah, Bojan, you were on the Euro trade. I got you, my friend. Irwin, if you are looking at currency futures continues, it looks like it is a March contract, which is an H contract. Let me see. Should we be? Okay, let me take a look at the calendar. I don't think so. I don't think we should be using the March yet. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, the third Friday of the month is on the 20, and the Thursday before is the 12. So yeah, in theory, we should not. But you know what? It's always useful. It's certainly, based on what I said before, it's very needed to be done all the time with the metals, the commodities, etc. With the currencies and the indices is not so needed for you to review this in a regular basis, because the contracts expire every 3 months. So you can be a little more relaxed about that, and you always have liquidity that is okay in at least 2 contracts. So it's not critical. But certainly, if it's looking like on your end there is more liquidity already on the edge, then we will need to look for this. Okay. So the bar chart is still showing at Z being the right contract, and when looking at the figures, okay, we can see the Z. Okay, it's still providing greater liquidity compared to the edge. Okay, you got 77,000 instead of 32, 131,000 instead of 66. So using the Z is the right choice. Okay, is the right choice. But I appreciate you double checking this, because sometimes there may be changes. Okay, that imply a rollover process that is happening earlier than expected, and then moving into the next contract, in this case the edge, would be recommended. Okay, so good comment there, and good question, Irwin, even though it's not time to use the edge yet. Okay. Yeah, so very good. Perfect. Okay, so now, so let's continue. So what do we have? The yen. So we have one candle into the down climate out of 5. Average is 92.10. So 92.10. I'm not sure exactly where it is. I would say 92.10. 92.10.9 is somewhere around here. Let me be precise. Yes, it's somewhere around there. And unfortunately, we don't have a UFO there. We have a UFO just a little above. Okay. So now, this is one of those situations which are maybe a little frustrating. Okay, if you are a trader who has limited time to trade, and you see this move happening, and you didn't enter because 12 is just a little higher than 10.7, meaning it's just a little above the average. Okay. And you didn't take the trade. Okay. But again, no matter how you feel about it, the rules are more important than our feelings, and therefore our job is to wait. If the climate is going to propagate, this is going to fall down. If this fall down, the average will go down, as well as new UFOs will form in different locations on the chart lower down. And I am telling you, 5 minutes from now, maybe 20 minutes from now, maybe 1 hour from now, I don't know when, because I don't have a crystal ball, but there will be a time sometime soon in the future, assuming that the climate will propagate down, that you would have a confluence with any of those potentially forming UFOs with the new location of the average. So patient space, and we need to wait for the UFO to form in the right location. Okay, let me review everything we got up to this point. Crude oil, still waiting for price to come into the entry UFO, which is properly located if looking at 85. Since our entry is 82, for the market to fall, for the market to get us a fill, it needs to fall to 82. The moving average, as the name suggests, is moving. So 85 very, very likely will be around 82. So crude oil trade, the crude oil trade is still valid based on that. The euro, it was a trade where it didn't work out. We're going to see the confirmation for the climate. We actually, with such a push to the downside, auto climate may pick up a change of climate here. We'll see that later on. This could happen. Sometimes we'll have a little bit of a teasing action in the market, as you can see, for then a new climate to develop. But again, we got a little bit of that here, as you can see. Okay, and this happens. Okay, and again, it's part of trading. Sometimes it happens. Gold, still waiting for the green UFO to form in the right place, hasn't happened. Japanese yen, waiting for a red UFO to form in the right place, hasn't happened yet. Okay, so back to our list of potential opportunities. Right now, it's flashing with gold. We already said what we have with gold. It's flashing with yen. We already said what's going on with the yen. It's flashing with the lean hogs, but it's a non-confirmed climate, so we will ignore that one. Okay, cool. Market about to open. Okay, so looking forward to see the beginning part of the action. It seems that we're going to have to move very quickly today because I'm delighted to see that we also have opportunities on the US dollar yen spot, euro and yen spot in the 4-hour time frame apart from the 60 as well. And then also we have opportunities, two opportunities with the miners to go short. Aussie, New Zealand dollar yen, and also to go long, Euro CAD, Euro yen, GBP CAD. All of these are trades that we're going to be analyzing as the market opens, which the market is about to do, isn't it? So notice how crude oil is falling hard, anticipating the beginning of the open, which is what I told you earlier, that, you know, it will happen. You'll see that happen from time to time. A very fast move in one direction, starting just a little bit before the market opens and continuing to the open, and then next thing you know, get into the beautiful UFO turnaround in the opposite direction. Okay, and that's the trade you want to take. So, you know, coming to us. Current value for the average is 83. So if it falls a little more, I would say it's going to be lining up with 82. So the trade is valid. Oh, look at that. I already got to safety target. Okay, you see there on the right, isn't it? Okay, so I already got from entry to safety target, speed of the light in this trade. So yeah, to the tick, isn't it? And by the way, the account here, the demo account, and the fact that it took a little bit of my CPU power to process all that information right at the open, and the fact that I'm running TradeStation in a virtual machine got this order not to fill, even though we saw we went all the way to that place. Okay, so anyway, true it is that the entry was very, very tight right at the buying price. So some of you may not have been filled, but now with crude oil going a little deeper into the UFO, now you should be in this trade like I am. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen at this market open. Again, these are the type of trades I like very, very much, in the sense that normally whatever is going to happen is going to happen quickly. Which is the beauty of trading right around the market open, which certainly for a new trader may be impacting your emotions. Okay, but if you've been in the sessions with me, you know I really appreciate that. Okay, so we'll see what happens with crude oil in just a sec. Nothing new with the euro. Actually, we do have a change of climate, but the climate is not confirmed. So I'm just gonna close this workspace. We don't need the euro anymore, at least for now. With gold, what do we have? So with gold, still proper climate. The value for the average is 71.8, so it's a little higher, but 71.8 happens to be below 14.72, and therefore that UFO does not qualify as a proper entry. It's still a UFO, it may work, but we're not going to take it because it doesn't meet our rules. Okay, so crude oil still fighting a little bit there. By the way, we are in a time stop mode. Okay, so if you are in this trade and you use time stops, because remember that's an optional rule, so we are now candle number 2. Okay, so if we don't get to the safety target up here in less than a candle and a half, then we will have to attempt exiting this trade for break even or some profit, if any. Okay, and if not, we'll just let it do its thing, which probably will end up as a stop out. Okay, so we're just gonna do that. Okay, again with gold, nothing to say at the moment. With the Japanese yen, we are waiting for the red UFOs to form. Nothing formed, so nothing to be done with the Japanese yen at the moment. Okay, so climate, what do we have? Nasdaq is giving us an opportunity, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Nasdaq. So I'll close crude oil, I'll close Japanese yen. I will close the Japanese yen. We will leave gold in case this is gonna happen again, because it's flashing again. Yeah, here we go. Come on, crude oil, you can do it, my friend. A little bit of a push, a UFO just formed here in the reactive time frame. This is always a good sign, but of course, until you reach the safety target, you never know, the outcome of the trade. Okay, so we're gonna have to wait there. Okay, so looking at the Nasdaq. Oh, wait a minute. Well, you know what? Yes, we're gonna look at the Nasdaq. So looking at the NQ. Yeah, very good, Bojan, you're in. Anyone else is in the crude oil trade, guys? I'd like to know if you guys are in this trade. Okay. Here we go. So NASDAQ. So what do we have? We are dealing with a climate of 6 candles out of 6. Okay. So if we were to get filled in, okay, no need for me to continue adding more to this because I can see a problem here. We got overlapping UFOs, okay, of a very, very lengthy distance. That's gonna bring our safety target very far away, and therefore the safety target is not acting really as safety. So we're gonna pass on this, okay? So crude oil teasing us a little bit, going up, going down, not really defining itself, okay? So we'll just wait. We will just wait a little more to see if finally crude oil picks up direction and confirms that we're gonna be okay, okay? So this is candle number 3. Candle number 3. So basically we are left with very, very little time. We are left with 30 seconds to be in this trade. If we don't get to the safety target in 25 seconds, okay, we're gonna have to close this trade manually. And as you see, it's gonna be just a little tiny profit. I'm just gonna grab this tiny profit and get out of the trade. And that's it, okay? So the crude oil trade is done. We're gonna now wait. I mean, and certainly, you know, we can still have a nice push going up from here. That's certainly could be the case. But the fact that things didn't happen on time. And by the way, I'm just noticing now as well that the climate went from confirmed to unconfirmed. So the fact that this is the case, it's certainly a concerning situation. Okay, so we are out. Let crude oil to redefine itself. In the meantime, not to be too proud of, but at the same time, we managed to not to get hurt and collect a few bucks from the market. So let's take it. Okay, it's not amazing, but we are still grateful, and we will then go ahead and wait for the climate to define itself and go for the next one. Okay, so checking gold, nothing new with gold. Checking the Nasdaq, and what we already talked about the Nasdaq. So I'm just gonna close the Nasdaq workspace. Okay. Oh, Mark, very good. So you are in the trade with Sim. Nice to practice. Okay, remember the C word, isn't it? Confidence. Okay, so here we go. Now crude oil seems to try to define itself. Okay, so we'll see in a few minutes from now when the climate re-updates, what do we really have there when it comes to the type of climate. Okay, cool. Okay, so we got nothing else there on the futures, so it's time to begin looking at Forex. So we're gonna start now with New Zealand dollar, US dollar, 4-hour time frame. Here we go. Let's go for it. Okay, so we got our 4-hour 21 minutes setup, 4-hour to check the climate, 21 minute to find unfilled orders. And as you can see, like red screen told us, we got 2 candles out of 7. So certainly if that's gonna keep going for 5 more candles, you are likely to catch a very nice move. So we're excited about it. And therefore we are ready and happy to plan for the next step. And the next step is to be looking for UFOs around the average price of 65.50, which unfortunately falls above that UFO. And if we were to, okay, wait a minute, because I don't think here I am seeing the chart properly. Okay, oh, look at that. We do have a setup, guys, because the range time frame is indeed giving us 50, okay? So we got 50, 52, 52 overlapping 53, 53 overlapping 56 overlapping 59, the moment you add the breathing room for the stop. So, and that goes all the way to 61, which 61 overlaps with 60, okay? So basically, we are talking about a UFO from the 50 area all the way to the 65 area, okay? Here we only see one, but if you add to this one, you add the ones from the right, okay, that would fall into that one here, okay? Somewhere inside that space, okay? And therefore, we have a pretty, you know, what would look like a pretty fat UFO, but to be honest, it's only 15 pips. So if you look at it by doing the math, I don't feel that's gonna be a problem. Okay, so we do seem to have a valid entry. So the key will be now to look for targets. Okay, and I'm gonna do that by using my common time frame 4 hours and turn on AutoUFOs with the NZDUSD, where we can clearly see that the target would need to be located right here, which is 29. Okay, 29. So yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work because if you think about it, our entry would be 50 with a stop around 70. So that's like 20 pips of profit, and basically the safety target would be at the same distance. So we are not that excited. Okay, so since we got more opportunities out there on the radar screen, so instead of spending time on this one, I would rather go for another one and see if another one gives us a better quality. Okay, so we got an opportunity here with a GBP with the GBP 60 minutes. 6 candles into the climate stats suggest 10. Okay, so let's take a look at that. We may find some different opinion there with TradingView because of the amount of candles loaded on the screen and the radar screen. You may remember radar screen is loading 200 candles only to keep the processing power limited. So what do we have there? Okay, well, it doesn't show 10, but it still shows 7, right? Still shows 7. So we got 7 candles, okay, here. And then here we got 6. In other words, it's still a good time for us to enter the trade. And if we were to do so, the average price would be located at 133.67, which there's no UFO there. The UFO, it's all the way 29, and there is no UFO there either. Okay, so yeah, so the pound, it's not giving us a trade setup, at least in these time frames, 60 and 8. And therefore we're gonna move to check the miners. We'll start with the Aussie New Zealand dollar 240 minute time frame. Okay, so back to the setup, 240 21, and I am now inputting AUD NZD, which is the Australian dollar against the Kiwi, and we're gonna be looking at what does this market offer us. Okay, and what this market is offering us, okay, it's a climate, okay, 5 out of 6, okay, so still time to enter. Okay, the average is, let me scroll down this to the beginning. Here we go. So the average is pointing at 104.11. Okay, 104.11, and we have 104.15. So it's not really overlapping the way we need. Okay, it's not really overlapping the way we need because the current price is 06, and 06 is so close to 11 that yes, moving averages are moving, and if the Aussie New Zealand dollar goes up, the average will go up, but it's gonna go up by maybe 1 pip, and 1 pip will bring it to 12, which is still below 15. So no setup on the Aussie New Zealand dollar, very, very close. Okay, you know, probably if you did this trade in the prior candle, okay, you would be in. As the market came up, you got in, and now you are in the trade, and probably you already reached your safety target. But planning the trade at this moment in time, we would not have a valid setup. Okay, so we are gonna check then on our next candidate, which is the Euro Canadian Dollar. Okay, same time frames, EURCAD, same time frames, and let's see what we've got. Okay, so with the EuroCAD, we got a climate of 2 out of 5. Certainly a good time for us to enter. When looking at the average is pointing at 146.57 and 146.57. It's more or less here, meaning that this UFO is too low at 49. And if I was to look at the range time frame, let me go all the way to the right. Do we have anything at 57? Let me see. No, we don't because we do have 57, but it's the bottom part of the UFO. I don't need it to be the bottom part of the UFO. I need it to be the top part of the UFO, because if that's the case, that means that my moving average is below the UFO, and we need the UFO to envelop it. Okay. Sorry guys, just taking a little sip here. So, okay, so let's keep going. Euro yen. Euro yen is our next candidate. Okay, so same time frame. Euro yen EUR JPY. 240-minute time frame combined with the 21. What do we have? We have a climate of 4 out of what would be 7. So we are in a good climate environment to plan on a long trade. The average for the euro yen is 120.25, which unfortunately is a little too high on the 21 minute time frame, and yeah, it doesn't seem that we have a UFO at 120.25 either. I need to scroll to the right, but it doesn't seem that we have anything at 25. At 25 we got basically a white space on the chart, no on-field orders at this price, and therefore we don't have a valid entry, which is probably the reason why even though the average, and that's why we use averages, is acting as a potential injector of on-field orders in the market. Okay, the fact is that you can see price going through, you know, which probably represents the fact that there is no significant quantity of on-field orders at this moment in time. Okay, so we just need to find a setup. Okay, and we never deviate from the setup. Okay, and here we go, talking about setups. We just got an alert on gold that seems to have changed climate, but we're gonna pass on that one because that one is not confirmed. And the one that we're excited to check is gonna be the S&P 500 with one candle out of 5 going down with a defined red color climate. So let's get ready to short the S&P. Let's get ready to short the S&P. Yeah, Mark, you're out at 40. Very good. Good job. Good job. I mean, you know, when a trade doesn't work according to plan, and you exit the trade for no pain, it's certainly good trade management. Okay, and therefore you should congratulate yourself for that, because it's part of what we do as traders, isn't it? So S&P. Okay, so what do we have? So we have one candle, okay, into climates that should be of 5. So this should fall for 5, okay, from that point, based on stats. Okay, to be able to take this trade, we need to find UFOs around 31, 32. Okay, 31, 32. It certainly falls in between that one. So we are actually right at the time where entering the trade makes sense. Since this is happening in front of us as we speak, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use reactive time frames to be a little more accurate with my entry, because price is already in the UFO, and if you're not in the trade, you have an opportunity to try to be a little more accurate. I also need to find a target. Okay, so I'm going to do this quickly by turning on AutoUFOs on the 15-minute time frame, and notice that my target is right there. The target with the S&P would be 31.2475. So yeah, so we're talking about a nice move, a few points going down, if that was to happen. Okay, so yeah, so turning off auto UFOs. Okay, and what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna get ready, okay, to execute this trade. I want to give you a few instructions, because if we need to do that, we're gonna have to do it quick. Okay, that's it, we got it. Okay, so we got a confirmation. So time to get in, short 2 contracts. Hey, don't give me messages now, TradeStation. So we are in with 2 contracts, okay? And very quickly, this is Murphy's Law. I was not able to see the right price for the stop, so I guess I'm gonna have to leave it there. And my final target would be 24.75, which is just a little lower. Okay, so come on S&P, come down. Okay, new UFO forming right there. Okay, new UFO forming right there. So that was a good one. All the orders got filled immediately, so it doesn't show on the screen anymore. But it's good to see that in what we expect to be a down climate, pockets of sell and field orders come in the market. That certainly suggests probabilities to be on our side. Definitely nothing is guaranteed until we get to our safety target, which I believe could be closer than where it is. But unfortunately, when I got to look at my UFO here to place my stop, I just clicked on the sell button with TradeStation, but I got this pop-up message And as this was happening, the UFO went away, and then I was not able to see the top price of the UFO, and therefore the right location for my stop. So hey, these things happen in trading, okay? And therefore you have to deal with it, and the way I'm dealing with it is just leaving the stop where it is. And I know I have a stop. It's not ideal, but it's trading. Okay, so we are now running in the second candle. We are certainly ready to apply our time stop rule. Let's see what is going to happen, and we are ready to trail stop. We are ready to do everything we do when it comes to managing this trade. Yeah. So candle number one, let me see, let me confirm. Yeah, so we are dealing with candle number two. So we need to wait for this candle to finish, and then we'll have one more, okay? This one will finish at 52. Yeah, so 52. So at 8:54 a.m. Eastern time is when our stop rule will trigger. And if we haven't reached our safety target, we're gonna have to get out of the trade, okay? Good. So we're just gonna stay here because obviously this trade is to be managed manually, and I'm gonna have to stay here to watch it. When you do it at home yourself, and if you use multiple computer screens, then you could be planning another trade in parallel. But in this case, since I am sharing my screen and some of you are with me in it, then I'm just gonna stay here. Okay. So Mark, you're in it. Very good. Dirk, you're in it. Very nice, guys. I love to see the teamwork, as I always say. Very, very nice. Okay, so we are about to reach 8:52. Okay, 9:52 a.m. I'm not sure why I said 8:52. Oh yeah, of course, because it's Chicago time. So 9:52 a.m. Eastern time. That's when we will have a new candle begin trading here on the time frame on the left. And that will be the last candle before we act on our time stop rule like we did before. In the meantime, we are just waiting for the climate and the average to bring unfilled orders in, because the unfilled orders that were in the market earlier, as you saw, they are gone. Okay, that is a bad sign. What was a good sign is when pockets of sell orders were showed in the reactive time frame, and that made us to be open to take the trade, which we did. And now, again, what we have in our favor, it's both the average and the climate, and we are just waiting for the market to define itself. And if it doesn't, when the current candle will close, which is going to be 2 minutes from now, we just started with a third candle here on the left. So if I zoom in a little more, you will see we got entry 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we are in that third candle. So we're just waiting for that candle to close, and when that happens, if we haven't reached 31.29.25, we'll be closing the trade manually. Okay. So Mark, you got 1 tick better price than me. Dirk, you got 2 ticks better price than me. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Come on, market. Define yourself. We are waiting for you so we can go trade other things. Out of curiosity, I would like to check what happened to crude oil in the end. Okay, well, look at that. Crude oil moving up very nicely. You know what? Very nicely, but we would have been stopped out because our stop was more or less at this point. Okay, so very nice that we were able to protect the trade with this undefined climate. Okay, so all those rules that we use for trade management, such as time stop, etc., it's all about protecting ourselves. Okay, now it seems that the S&P is moving in our direction. That's nice to see, but again, we got 20 more seconds to go. If we don't reach the safety target in 20 seconds from now, we are just gonna get out of this trade around break even. It's possible, if possible. Okay, so you know what, that's it. I'm just gonna get out. 1, 2, 3. I am out of this trade. Okay, and not the best trade of the year, but again, same story. You know, we entered in a time where the market didn't define itself, didn't provide us with what we're expecting out of the trade setup and the rationale behind our trading actions. And therefore you get out, collect whatever is possible, and get ready for the next trade, and that's it. That's the mindset of a trader, always ready to be in a trade when the trade shows being high probability unprofitable. But if that's not the case, just get out and look for something better. Okay, so talking about other things, we got an opportunity with the US dollar, Canadian dollar. Yeah, you have to be fast. You're absolutely. Yeah, and you guys, if you have been in this trade as well, I'd love to know that you were with me on mimicking the actions and you were able to be out. US dollar CAD 60-minute time frame. Let's take a look at that. We still have a few minutes before the session is over, so I would like to be able to find some tradable opportunity. Okay, so what do we have here? Yeah, so we are not gonna have anything valid because the climate is good. Okay, 1 out of 5. This is certainly appreciated, but then the average it's 132.36, and we got nothing at 36. Okay, and same for here. Nothing at 36. So US dollar, Canadian dollar doesn't meet our rules. The pound US dollar doesn't either. The US dollar, Japanese yen was not meeting our rules in the futures exchanges. What about the spot Forex? Maybe we do. So we have an up climate here with the US dollar yen. 1 out of 7. That is nice. Average is 108.60, but there is nothing around 108.60. There is nothing around 108.60. Okay, so no opportunity on the US dollar yen, not meeting the rules. So we pass. We are picky. Okay, we are picky and demanding. We have a potential opportunity with the euro in the 4-hour time frame. So back to the 4-hour time frame. This case is going to be EUR USD. Let's see if we can find an opportunity there. Climate define 2 candles out of 5. So that's good. Average price for the euro located at 110.73. 110.73, we got nothing there. And if I look at the range time frame, we got nothing around 73 either. Yep, so we go for the next one, which is the US dollar, Japanese yen in the 4-hour time frame. Same currency as we had earlier, but now we are dealing with the spot Forex and the 4-hour time frame. Earlier we were dealing with the futures and the 60-minute time frame. This time we're going a little bit larger time frame. So what do we have? We have 1 candle out of 5, 6. That's good. Average 108.60. 108.60, we got nothing there, and nothing there either. Okay, nothing there either, even though I'm not looking at the all the way to the right. There we go. So we got 57, but certainly that's not the right price because the current price is already 59, and the average is above current price. So not a good opportunity. What else? More of the minors. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. That one we didn't have it earlier. So same time frame, 4 hours, NZD-CAD. Looking for the opportunities. Here we go. We got 2 out of 6, isn't it? So that's good. Average 86.71. That is not what we want here. 71 is right there and there is no UFO. 71 is right there and there is no UFO. So, wow, so many no's today. It's our job to say no, to be honest. That's the job of a trader, to say no more often than yes. But it's, at least in the spot Forex markets today, everything, it's not matching our rules. So we just need to keep using a very important tool traders we use, which is called patience. So 772, current is 2, perfect entry opportunity from a climate point of view, 71.14. Okay, 71.14, and guess what? In this case, 14 is right here, and we do have a UFO right there. So this time it does look like we may have a trade. So New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, let's take a look more in depth. It's a shorting opportunity. Let's look for a target. So turn on AutoUFOs. Similar to what we had earlier, isn't it? So I'm a little bothered by this green UFO to be so close right there at 1791. Okay, especially because when you think of 1791, that's a buy order, isn't it? And because it's spot Forex and it's decentralized, it needs to be raised up by 2 pips. So 91, you run it up to 92 and then you add 2. So that's 70.94. That would be the target for this trade. So I'm not sure, it looks close to me, and therefore we may not have the room for movement we need. But you know what, let's not guess too soon, and let's do what we need to do, which is to go over the whole process. Okay, so what do we have? We need an entry around 14. That's the UFO. So our entry is going to be the bottom part of this UFO, which is, let's call it 08. Okay, so 08 will be our entry, and therefore the location for the stop would be above 16. Now, above 16, because it's a buy order, is a buy stop, isn't it? So we need to add 2. So it's going to be 18. And the moment you make that 18, then we add 5 pips, additional 5 pips for breathing room for the stop, given the decentralized nature of spot Forex. So 18 and 5 is 23, which lines up with that one. So really our stop needs to be located above this one, which is 32 plus 2, 34 plus 9, plus 5. That's 39, which lined up with that one. So we got too many overlapping UFOs. And that's unfortunate because it's almost a good setup, and I will not be surprised to see that market turn from that beautiful UFO and start going down and reach the target. But unfortunately, we cannot just put our stop here in the middle because given the decentralized nature of spot Forex, we may be stopped out and then see the market go our way. Okay, so we are not going to do it. We're just going to be disciplined. Okay, nice to see we got out of the S&P because we just had a unconfirmed but change of climate, went from red to blue. Okay, so nice one. Again, our trade management rules keeping us safe in a market that kind of went nowhere up to this point, but we collected just a little bit. I mean, it doesn't even count on how little it's been, but certainly nice to see that we didn't get hurt in a market that went up and down in a way that it's actually dangerous when the market goes up and down by little amounts, because you cannot collect a profit and you can certainly hit your stop. Okay, so nice to get to see that working well for us. So GBP Canadian Dollar, that's going to be the last trade we'll explore today, and hopefully we'll have a setup. So GBPCAD, we are dealing with a climate of 4 candles out of 5, so still a good time to get into the trade. Value for the average 174.15. 174.15 is somewhere here. Not looking good when it comes to the 21-minute time frame, but wait a minute, I would like to observe more closely the 21 range UFO, because that one may qualify. Okay, so I want to move this up. We have multiple UFOs overlapping each other there, starting at 17. So of course 15 is in the middle. Okay, then it goes to 14, 12, to 10, 10, 9 to 5. So certainly that UFO works well. Okay, it's 3 UFOs together, but there are very little distance between them, so it's nice. So 0.5 minus 5 is going to be 74, which is above 98. Okay, so basically this UFO that we have on the right side of our screen that does not show on the left side of our screen is located somewhere here. Okay, and even though we don't see it on the left, we see it on the right, and this UFO does qualify as a valid entry for our trade. Okay, so again, the key is going to be to have a valid stop as well, and then to have a valid target as well, and then we'll have a valid trade. So let's take a look at the target for the GBPCAD. Let's see what that target should be. and it's actually looking quite nice. Okay, the target is located all the way 200 pips higher at 176. So my friends, I would say we do have a trade set up with the GBPCAD. I was missing finding a trade in Forex for today, and I'm glad I just found it. Okay, and that way I give you the opportunity to practice it in your own accounts, real or demo. That's of course, as always, your decision, as you know. But at least you can get some practice in with these trades. Okay, so let's go for it. So plan for the trade. Let's write it down. And, oh, I just hit the wrong button. Sorry, guys. Plan for the trade. Let's write it down. And that way we will conclude today's session. So first, final target. So the final target going from top to bottom is going to be 1.7600. Below, much lower, we're going to have a safety target. Okay, which I need to calculate, so I'll come back to that in a minute. Below the safety target, we're going to have the long entry, which is going to be located at 174.170. So we always need to round to the 4th decimal place, which is 17. We need to add 2 because it's a buy order, so that's going to be 19. And then we're going to have a stop loss below the entry, which is going to be a sell order. So we're going to take 174.054. We're going to round it to the 4th decimal place, and because it's a sell order, we round down. So we will not make this to be 0.6. We will make it 0.5. We round down because it's a sell order. And then, because it's a stop loss, we will add 5 additional pips of breathing room, bringing it down to 0.0. So in other words, the vertical distance between the entry and the stop is 19 pips. So we're going to have to replicate the same distance to the upside for the safety target. And that will bring our safety target to be located at 174.38 if I did the math correctly, which I believe I did. So enter at 19, exit at 38 in case the market behaves unexpectedly out at 0.0 with a stop. And the moment you get to 38, you are out of risk and now enjoy the move potentially all the way to 176. This is the plan for the trade. And this will be your opportunity to take a screenshot before we conclude the session today. Bojan, you took the easy trade again, 2 UFOs aligning themselves with the 9 EMA. Okay, so you had a setup that really fine. Nice to hear, Bojan. Nice to hear. Good job. Okay, and nice to hear for many reasons. Okay, but one of the reasons, and I think it's a great example for newer traders in the session today, even though I know many of you have already a decent amount of experience, but always good to remember or to be reminded of good habits, and certainly for the ones of you that are newer to the market. If you think about it, Bojan, a few minutes ago, he took a trade with the euro, and he got stopped out. But then an opportunity reform itself that meets the rules, and with no head trash of any sort, with no mental block of any sort, he was able to re-enter a trade on the same market that a few minutes ago hurt his account, but he's feeling absolutely peaceful about it. And this is the way to approach trading, guys. Okay, so it's all about following rules, and when you're right, you're right. When you're wrong, you're wrong. When you catch a big profit, great. When the profit is small, great as well. And we basically develop this carefree state of mind, and this is how we trade the best way we do. Okay. Yeah. Very nice, Bojan. Very nice. Fantastic. Okay, everybody. So I'm just going to say goodbye to everyone. It's been a pleasure to conduct the session for you guys today. And it's always a pleasure, actually. But today we had a little bit more activity with futures. You guys got many more hours in front of you of market hours. So keep up the practice and the good work, and certainly the discipline and the management of those emotions and following the rules. Okay, counting on you for that. And I will see you very soon. I believe we have another session, I think it's tomorrow, for the longer term. So I will see you then. You guys take care. Bye-bye. See you soon, everyone. Take care.